Pues bueno, esta es una transmisión un poco especial, una transmisión pues breve, en donde voy a estar compartiéndoles la traducción o la transmisión de subtítulos en vivo de la charla que está por comenzar del equipo de Geyser. Ellos nos acompañaron, si recuerdan la charla con Estéreos hace un par de semanas, fue una charla muy entretenida en español. Un saludo al equipo. Y pues sí, vamos a comenzar ahora mismo con el audio y más tarde también me gustaría que se quedaran durante toda la charla porque me gustaría darles un mensaje de agradecimiento no solo al equipo de Geyser, sino a todas las personas que hacen esta iniciativa de Latinodos posible. Pero sin más ni menos, les dejo por ahora con el audio.
Welcome. I'll just chill here for a bit until we get some more plebs. I'm gonna send out a tweet. Please bear with me. I'm gonna play some background music maybe to keep it nice and chill. Sec. Guys, thank you for making it. Splitting up on a few more people as I also send out a tweet. I'm gonna be chilling with some music in the background for a bit. Hey guys, so good to be here with you guys. Thank you, a lot of you for making it. Got a good 15-20 of you. I see creators, I see builders, I see educators, I see creatives. Lots of you guys. That's awesome to be here. I think it's just going to be me and Brad co-hosting this talk, and it's just really a way to get to really celebrate via voice the result of the grants. Talk a little bit more about like the process, how it was, get your feedback, and also spending some time on actually reviewing all the projects. Like let's actually look at them in detail. Let's talk through it. Let's see who you know who's who is up on the leaderboard. The three groups of grantees, and let's, you know, if you guys are on, let's have you guys come up and talk about the project and what's up, what's next. Really, it's really a way to celebrate the you know, really the creatives and creators, educators, and kind of talk about what's next for them. So this was maybe just to start off a little bit about Geyser Grants, how it originated, and how you know, like how it came about. Really, it all goes back really to the chat that Brad, myself, and Stelios had at one point in I believe it was around April, May of this year, and we kind of said essentially that you know, we had sort of noticed that funding in the Bitcoin space is what it is. I think a lot of Bitcoiners actually are supporting initiatives out there, but there's also actually a new what for me was a new group of users, which is oftentimes these sort of anonymous lurkers on Twitter that are have full pockets with Bitcoin and want to support and contribute in this ecosystem. And there's actually very little of a way for them to be part and partake and support kind of bottom-up initiatives. And yeah, so that was key insight that Brad brought to us. And thanks to his connections and his insights, you know, we were able to essentially amass around three Bitcoin that we could then give out to the community of Bitcoin creators. One of the key learnings for us was definitely what is happening in the Bitcoin and actually in other cryptocurrencies, like the, you know, the Ethereum ecosystem and the shitcoin ecosystem. There is a lot of money going around to incentivize creators, builders to go out there and do stuff. Although like I don't think it necessarily affects the potential success of Bitcoin, what it does is that it funnels a lot of people into these other ecosystems. What is beautiful about Bitcoin though is that people are building and doing stuff and educating on Bitcoin without even like that level of incentives, without even that incentive. So that's kind of the beauty of what we're doing. We said, okay, let's do a grant for Bitcoin, but let's sort of do it in a way that is actually a bit retroactive. Some of the projects that have earned grants are sort of ideas of things that somebody wants to do, but actually the majority of them is people that have shown proof of work, people that have been contributing on Bitcoin for a really long time, that have been, you know, doing all sorts of things, open source development, education, you name it. And actually we're providing the grants retroactively, which is a really, really big distinction from what's happening in the other ecosystem, where it's like, you get the grant if you do something. Yeah, so that's sort of like the key insight we had in the very beginning. And, you know, it really, grants aligned very well with our mission at Geyser to support creators in the Bitcoin ecosystem, to make it easier for them to, you know, raise funds to do their projects and be successful with them. And so, yeah, it sort of aligned perfectly. And so we decided to really quickly do an MVP. And this was our MVP for the Geyser grants, which lasted, yeah, like 1 month to apply for applications, 1 month to build it, 1 month to apply, enable applications, 1 month to review them. And yeah, now we're in the 3rd month, and funds will be essentially given out very soon. Yeah, so sort of that's a key sort of story, I guess you could call, of Geyser grants. And I believe, Brad, am I missing anything? Anything else you want to say here?
I would say too that one of the inspirations for Geyser grants was the thing that Giacomo Zucco, Jameson Lop, and Elena from Trezor tried to do back in like 2019. It was something that inspired me to like want to be more philanthropic, anyways, with my Bitcoin efforts, where I'm trying to go and find people who need help and see who's doing stuff that maybe not even are on Twitter. What they were doing back then was they were trying to do this B Foundation thing, which was like crowdfunding donations from Bitcoin whales, Bitcoin companies that wanted to improve their reputation and their clout in Bitcoin, or just generally altruistically support people building on Bitcoin. And it was focused on technology, so it was startups, open source projects, things like that. And but the idea was really cool. It was like plebs can get together and kind of like vote and rank projects that they want to see supported. So the idea they had was to just get an anonymous or even public pool of funding together from people who wanted to contribute to Bitcoin open source development, and then have the community really decide on where that funding should go. And there was some controversy from the Bitcoin maximalists back then because the B Foundation kind of sounded a little bit too much like it was trying to represent Bitcoin. And, Bitcoiners have kind of an allergy to stuff like that, where we have the history, like the Bitcoin Foundation, all that. But I think retroactively looking back, like they should have done it. And it should have, like, in the end, we did get things like Brink Bitcoin and the Human Resource Foundation, OpenSats, and Squared crypto grants. Like there's tons of efforts that got started up. So it's not like they canned it and nothing happened. BitMEX started funding stuff, like to his credit, even though he's like, done a lot of gaslighting and stuff. Udi Wertheimer raised like, I think nearly $1 million or maybe even more from crypto funds last year to go towards Bitcoin open source development. So like people are really doing it, but I was just inspired by those guys. And I kind of reached out to Giacomo and Jameson and Elena, and I was like, why didn't you guys do that? And they're like, just, we should have. I think a couple of them were like, yeah, we should have done that. So we ended up getting Giacomo Zucco on as a technical advisor or as a not a technical advisor, but a board member for the builders grants. And Jameson's kind of given his blessing as well, but he's a little bit too busy with everything he's doing to get involved. And same with Elena. But yeah, there's kind of the origin story of this is a little bit as well inspired by B Foundation. It's kind of like a send up to those guys and what they were trying to do, because we do need that. Like we really do need something that's Bitcoiner focused, where the other projects, they're awesome. Like we need as much of this as possible to fund Bitcoiners. But what we were trying to do with Geyser grants is not just fund open source development, because that's extremely important, but also people contributing to Bitcoin culture, artists, musicians, podcasters, authors. And that's extremely important to fund projects that are not, like, I'm not a technical guy myself, but I want to be able to contribute to Bitcoin by educating people. So to find educators, to find artists and people contributing to Bitcoin education, Bitcoin culture, and also Bitcoin development. So that was one of the things that, it sets us apart, I think, with our mission and the mandate's not just Bitcoin development, but also people who are outside of that niche of like having the technical skills to be able to contribute to Bitcoin. They deserve some love too. The goal here is like, if you build it, they will come. I mean, that's pretty much what I think we're striving for. Like we're trying to just show that there is a ton of people trying to build small things, and there's a lot of people that are willing to donate sats to help do their part. So we're just doing it. so that's how it started, and that's how it's going.
Amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting history, Bitcoin archaeology, as I call it. Love it. Cool. So I think time is ticking. We have 45 projects to go through. So I'm just gonna start with those. I guess first thing, maybe quickly, just about like the criteria. I believe this was something that we developed as we went. I think there was some very brief mention in the Notion docs, but basically I thought that we will be considering based on like on a few variables. The key one was going to be definitely the degree to which a project can impact the ecosystem. Also talking about like the funding intensive, like how funding intensive is initiatives, and like how much funds are actually required for that project. And does the creator show a history of proof of work? So essentially, it's really not about like, you know, better or worse, like, you know, if you get more money, it's because, you know, you're better or not. It's really no, it's more about like all these different variables coming together, and really about necessity. You know, to what extent can a project receive funding through other means, right? Like that's also really important. So we have group 1 receiving 5 million sats, group 2 receiving 2.5 million, and group 3 1.25 million. So that's roughly equivalent $1,000, $500, $250 roughly. And yes, this is not going to be a life-changing money. You know, you didn't just win the lottery. It's like it's a little boost, right? It's a boost to keep you going, keep you building, to support, especially in these, you know, in this current bear market that we're in. And I think also there's something else to it. It's not just about the money. It's about recognition that someone there is saying like, you know, shit, these guys are doing awesome work. Let's do more. Let's build more. Let's keep relentlessly doing shit. And so I think that's also very important. Again, like a lot of these folks are doing, you know, work like open source, and, you know, for free. And I think some, you know, just a donation is a recognition of value, of you know, value for value exchange. So yeah, so here we go. This is really like the basic kind of motivation, and like how we decided to go about the grant evaluations. And so yeah, what this means is that this entire effort of the Geyser grants is only possible thanks to you know, donators, contributors that are philanthropists that are supporting this initiative. So I also wanted to thank Wallet of Satoshi for donating $1,000, but also very importantly, there was one specific anonymous contributor who donated 3 Bitcoin, and we had 2 other smaller donations as well. But it really wouldn't be possible without this. So, you know, in the spirit of Satoshi, this was, you know, anonymous contributions. So consider it, you know, consider the saying, we are all Satoshi, and someone out there decided to really play Satoshi and support us in this. So we do know who the person is, but the person decides to stay anonymous. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, thanks so much for that. And if you think there's, you know, one of you might be one, you know, feel free to contribute. Geyser is not taking any cut from this. Like, we're just, you know, want to support the ecosystem to the simple kind of feature, and, you know, gather creators around this ecosystem together. So yeah, so that's sort of like the idea. Yeah, also worth mentioning is that the board, right? So we have, you know, Brad, Desiree Dickinson from Thunder Games, Draco Mozuko, Prince, Daniel Prince, Lucas, Connor Okus, and Cryptography. These were all fantastic guys. We're working their ass off to evaluate all the applications. And yeah, let's get started.
We should probably give Becca Rubenfeld a shout out as well. She helped a lot, and even though she wasn't officially on the board, but she's definitely helped a lot. And man, like you and Stelios also, you used to be on that board too. You guys did a lot of work.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, definitely, Becca. Amazing support throughout it, and advisory support. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a lot of work on our hands as well. But I think going forward, actually, we had a few people reach out saying, I want to help for the next grant. I want to help to evaluate, and just whatever I can do, I'm happy to help. So if you guys are also interested in supporting the Geyser grants, it is like pretty much an open source thing. So if you guys are interested in supporting the next grant, just DM us, and like we'll find ways to employ you to you know, for a few hours, and like help us clean up the applications or whatever. So yeah, feel free to DM me about that for the next grant round 2. All right, so let's get started here. We're 20 minutes in and we have 45 projects to get to. So I'll kind of go through it. So we have the Geyser grant group 1, which includes only 5 projects, right? One of them is Machankura 8333. So they're enabling Africans to send and receive Bitcoin via SMS so that Africans don't need internet or smartphone to use Bitcoin. So if you guys haven't realized this, this is going to be absolutely massive. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of millions of people that don't have smartphones that want to potentially use Bitcoin, but they currently can. Now with Machankura, they can. This can have a massive impact on adoption in developing countries and allow anyone with just with an old style non-smartphone phone to send Bitcoin via custodial draw. So let me just invite over here Machankura, who I see. And if you want to just tell us a little bit about like the origin story and like a little bit, again, not super long. Let's try to make it like, let's say 2 minutes per project, because otherwise we won't be able to go through it. Let's say 3 to 4 minutes actually, because not all project will be here. But yeah, Machankura, welcome aboard. Tell us a little bit about your project, how it started, and also what are your plans next? Like when can we look forward to this, what you guys are doing?
Well, yeah, so thank you very much for the grant. It's very much appreciated. And yeah, just a little about the project, just to keep it short. It's basically, yeah, what you just said as a summary, a project trying to give people without internet connected devices the ability to send and receive Bitcoin. So yeah, it's a Lightning custodial wallet that runs over USSD, and USSD is like an interactive SMS session where the user is shown a prompt and then they have to respond within 20 seconds. And yeah, so it's intuitive because a person really doesn't need to know anything about the service or how to use Bitcoin, because all the prompts will basically tell them all that they need to know. And yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of work ahead. Basically, I'm trying to get it in as many countries as possible. And also in the countries that it is available, make it work better for everyone in that country, because there's slight differences between countries and there's some features we could add to help, like multilingual support and stuff like that. And yeah, then on the other side, this is a Lightning custodial wallet. And yeah, we've started work on exploring what it would take to make it work as a non-custodial service, right? So yeah, it will probably be on-chain only as a non-custodial service, but there might be a future where it is possible to run this as a non-custodial Lightning service as well. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Super interesting and promising. Good, great work. Quick question: are you guys thinking of integrating Lightning addresses as well at some point?
Oh yeah, no, actually, Lightning addresses are our primary way that users can receive Bitcoin and also send Bitcoin outside of the service.
Oh wow! So you already have adopted Lightning addresses, and that's how people can send funds and receive the funds.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. That's super cool. We'd love to be able to test at some point. Let's have a chat later, because on Geyser projects can get funded via Lightning addresses. So I'd love to see how this integration works with you guys. Let's have a chat later and test it out. Cool. We'll love to see how that works.
We'll most definitely do.
Amazing. Okay, cool. All right. Next up, we have The Fight for the US Dollar by Pierre Corbin. Which aims to, essentially, it's a documentary, aims to bring the monetary fundamentals of Bitcoin to the masses, with a documentary featuring some big names in the Bitcoin space. So yeah, this is gonna be a big one. They have already essentially lined up some big names to feature in the documentary, including Lena Alden, Carlos Maslaton, Samson Moe, and quite a few others. So definitely is going to be a big project that is very promising. So they're currently actually in the Geyser. They have a Geyser crowdfunding project actually, and they've raised almost $600. They're around 7% of the way there. So definitely still have a long way to go, but definitely urge you guys to check it out. Apparently, you can essentially get mentioned on the website by funding a certain amount, and so it'd be pretty cool. I think this is gonna go pretty big. They have won an award in the past, so I think it's gonna be interesting to see this. Hopefully win some awards and Orange fills a few more people. Speaking of documentaries, we also have James King here, who essentially does amazing work as well, working on a Trust film. Another really looking forward to that one as well. But we'll see. We'll save this one for another time, James, as we go through the grants here. What else? In group one, we also have Paco. He's gained a lot of attention in the past months and has become a bit of a legend in the community. So his boots on the ground efforts have been key in connecting and helping bootstrap local communities around Africa. So totally, you probably all know Paco's incredible work, amazing service to the community, connecting really the world. He also has a project on Geyser, and he's raised around $500 from around 56 contributors. So amazing to see that level of engagement and attraction. And let's move on. I don't think Paco is around here. So yeah.
Paco's a good example of something that I think would have slipped through the cracks for other sort of projects like charity efforts and stuff like that, like philanthropic efforts, because Paco is doing a lot for Bitcoin culture. Like he's not like Jack Dorsey or something like that. Obviously, he's not going to impact like hundreds of millions of people and be able to deploy Bitcoin to millions of merchants and things like that through his efforts. But he's inspiring people, and he's going and doing boots on the ground. Like he's doing Satoshi's work, and it's tough. Yeah. Like he's not getting, like you said earlier in the space, there's a lot of money available for shitcoin foundations to go and like bribe people to go out and be ambassadors for their shitcoin and like give tens of thousands or 20,000 or even like hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions, to go out and advertise their stuff. But like Bitcoin inspires people to just altruistically spread the message of how Bitcoin can change your life. And Paco's doing it in these small communities and stuff, and he's going out and actually holding Bitcoin meetups all over the world, convincing merchants to check out Bitcoin. And he's doing it in a way that's, I think, extremely ethical. So, people like Paco, it's great that we're giving him this grant, because it's just good to show people that we like support their mission and what they're doing. And hopefully more and more Bitcoiners will support Paco on the Geyser page he has, because we got to show people like Paco that like we support you and here's some money, so that we like their choice to stay Bitcoin only ends up making sense.
Absolutely, love what you just said. And to add to that, it's like to show him here's some money so you don't err right on the side of evil, on the side of shitcoins, but at the same time to also show that we appreciate his work. Because I've spoken to Paco, and he said that he gets approached all the time to sponsor and talk about shitcoins, like constantly. Often receiving pretty massive offers. So, and he's been pretty good at staying on the on the righteous path, I guess, as you could call it. So totally second that. He's done some amazing work. All right, moving on. We have Mi Primer Bitcoin. So they essentially are this grassroots educational effort in El Salvador. They have this curriculum that they developed, the first open source educational curriculum kit for essentially kickstarting Bitcoin educational programs that could also go worldwide. So we felt very important to make this, give them a bit of a boost, help them out as well. Such important work on the ground, educating technically. I believe actually not technically, just the basics of how Bitcoin works, how Lightning works, and how to actually use it, right? What wallets to download, etc., etc., etc. So I don't think they're here, but amazing work, guys. If you're not here, yeah, let's move on. We've got Anita Pash, who's also told me she's busy traveling, but everyone knows Anita. She is an inspiration to everyone. You know, her rigorous ethos and relentlessness to push for financial inclusion around the world really does give us hope. I went to her speech at Bitcoin Baltic Honey Badger, and it was truly sensational. I mean, she finds really things in Bitcoin that I hadn't seen before. You know, just like all the rights that it enables and provides. And, you know, it helps me understand even Bitcoin in a different light. So amazing work, Anita. Honestly, one of the stars when it comes to boots on the ground philosophy. So yeah, thanks, Anita. I just think she's not around to, unfortunately, to talk. But yeah, so that's actually wraps up the ground.
Anita has a Geyser campaign as well, right?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, good reminder. Good reminder.
She raised a decent amount of money, I think.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, so you're right. So she raised $11,000, which is 66% of her goal, and essentially, actually, contributions they stack up to 186 contributions, 186, and 140 individual funders, which is gigantic. I believe you are one of the big ones as well, Brad. So. Thank you for supporting her really here. Great stuff. Right. So group two essentially are, you know, there's quite a few, around 19 projects up here. Let's get this going. So we've got distributed VPN by Cyberk Systems, an important project for the future of this decentralized web. This grant may not be enough to support this ambitious of a project, but we hope it keeps the project going. So let's get you up here. I believe that's, yeah, let me add you up. If you want to say a few words, Daniel, believe, of your project, you know, what got you started and where it's going, will be awesome to hear. I think you're on mute. You need to try to unmute it.
All right, I'm good now.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's no big deal really, but it's kind of just as I follow the scene pretty intensively this last few months, especially. But I've been in this since 2012. The Lightning Network is kind of at this interesting stage where it's starting to become really mainstream and viable as a payment network system that provides the payment network that Bitcoin needs in order to become a medium of exchange. And essentially, as I see it, we have this kind of, what do you call it, a general purpose onion routing network, which is Tor, and then there's these lesser known ones like I2P. And the problem with them is that they are trying to solve problems that are not interesting to Bitcoin. All we need for Bitcoin is to be able to prevent it being possible for large-scale adversaries to just determine the location of people who are using Bitcoin and Lightning network systems. And in addition, just as an extra part, to enable a private messaging system. On top of that, you can build many, many, many things, because every web service is just a messaging system. And so essentially what I'm building is that. It's a way to exit to the Bitcoin network, to the Lightning network, and to do this without revealing where you are and providing security. That's my project, basically.
Amazing. Yeah, as we build towards a more
You said not a
decentralized
big
web.
deal. I disagree. It's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll just say that the first thing that, because I came into the Bitcoin space via the dark web, for me, it was kind of like an obvious connection. You know, Bitcoin and anonymity was an essential thing. And back then, it didn't really matter so much because Bitcoin was worth, I don't know, between 20 and $5,000 in the period when I was first encountering it. And now it's really serious. I mean, you know, you move Bitcoin around, like if somebody knew where you were, they might, you know, that's $20,000. That's actually worth attacking.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. Super important. You know, privacy and this decentralized VPN, very promising, especially as we start building towards this future of the decentralized web. So really appreciate your work, Daniel. And
why does everyone think I'm Daniel? It's David.
Oh, David. Goodness. Sorry about that. Maybe we're changing your name. I'm kidding. David.
My sister's name is Daniel.
Don't tell me. Oh my God. Okay, that's funny. Sorry about that. All right, next up we've got BitGold. I think you just better to speak, but BitGold is building a Lightning PayJoin, which makes it a whole lot easier to create a Lightning channel. And their team have built a proof of concept library and are looking to build it out in full. So we'll love to hear more of, you know, what you're building and what's next.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I want to say congrats to the other grantees first. I'm super grateful for Geyser Fund and Geyser grants that we're off the ground now, and there's this whole new way for everyone to get recognition in the Bitcoin space. It's amazing to see. I'm really excited for the future. Anyway, Lightning PayJoin lets you build a Lightning channel from any wallet that speaks PayJoin instead of Lightning, because if you want to connect to the Lightning network, you need to know that whole protocol, and not many wallets implement that. While a lot of Bitcoin software already integrates PayJoin, and it's actually the simplest kind of interactive transaction. So, for example, CoinJoin or Lightning Network payments in general are interactive transactions. Really, it just leverages the pay to endpoint, which is someone running a server, and this works regardless of your device, whether it's a desktop or a mobile device or Umbrel, and you just get PayJoin as a bonus because everything that speaks pay to endpoint so far, which is paying to a server instead of a Bitcoin address, is able to make a transaction that preserves people's privacy, and it's not coordinated by a third party. It's just peer-to-peer, so it's censorship resistant. I was working on increasingly complex coin joins. I realized nobody had taken the opposite approach to reduce the complexity, go the simplest possible, and PayJoin had really been left behind. So I took something built by Kixunil in the Rust Bitcoin community, which is easy to create a reproducible build, something very safe and secure, and build on top of that to plug it into a Lightning node. I want to also say thanks to Evan Lin in Taiwan, who contributed to the Rust repo, and I'm excited to integrate with Bitcoin Core and other projects via the plugin we have. Definitely any project on Bitcoin, get in touch if you want PayJoin in your library. We're working on integrating with a few right now, and it's literally 100 lines of code to integrate PayJoin sender into your client. So thanks again to the Geyser team, and get in contact if you want PayJoin.
Sounds amazing. I think we might actually get in touch because this looks really interesting for some use cases I've been thinking about. So we'll definitely reach out later then. Good stuff, really good stuff. And I love what you said there about, you know, having this additional tool of Geyser grants to actually get recognition. And I totally agree. It's yeah, it's paid tribute for building and doing interesting stuff on Bitcoin. So totally second that, and good to see you agree. Yeah, so next up we've got Bitfeed Live. this is a dynamic and colorful mempool visualizer, a bit like mempool. They have plans to add more features and continue to serve and educate the Bitcoin community. So a very cool, like aesthetic, very interesting visualizer built by Mononaut. Just very powerful, like aesthetics, and this kind of stuff is important for like understanding what even this whole space is about. I don't see Bitfeed live, but thank you from the distance. Thanks a lot. Let's keep going. Next up, we have SECP256K1.Swift. Bit of a mouthful by CRK Monster. So essentially, this tool makes it easier for developers to build non-custodial apps on top of iOS. So I'll be honest, this was a really hard to understand project technically. So we had a technical developer a technical person going through this grant and evaluating it. But basically, it turns out it's quite actually hard to build non-custodial apps on top of iOS, and this project makes it possible. So amazing work. I don't believe the creator is here, unfortunately, but if any of you has any thoughts on that as well, happy to let you speak on behalf. But, it's a bit hard to explain it in detail, but essentially it is a pretty powerful platform. So congrats to him.
I remember that one. Wasn't that the one that was trying to use the Swift code, like to make it so that you could make Bitcoin? That was a pretty cool project. Like we need more open source mobile stuff. So yeah, good to see more of that. And if you can hear my family in the background, we're driving the RV.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. So next up, we've got Wallet Scrutiny by Danny Buntu. So they do basically reproducibility testing on Bitcoin apps and devices like Bitcoin wallets. And they've analyzed 3,770 Bitcoin apps. Can you believe it? So again, this is another, I believe they do some consulting work, but a lot of it is just reviewing applications and providing data to consumers open source freely. So like very important project. I don't believe that, I think they do ask for donations on their site. Yeah, they do have donations on their site, so we'll make a donation directly from there. So I believe, actually, you guys are here. Let me add you up. Wallet Scrutiny. Yeah. How's it going? How are you guys feeling about this? If you want to tell us a little bit about you guys, what you do, and what's next? I'd love to hear. I just invited you to speak. You might have to accept. No, we can move on and come back to it later as well. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I realized I had to configure the app before being. But anyway, I'm not Danny Buntu. I'm Leo Wanderslit, the founder of Wallet Scrutiny. Danny is working for Wallet Scrutiny and made the contact with the Geyser Fund. And yeah, we also had contact with Giacomo Succo due to other issues around Wallet Scrutiny. But anyway, Wallet Scrutiny is a project to make sure that self-custody is actually self-custody. And as you just mentioned, we analyzed thousands of projects, and unfortunately, thousands of those projects have the potential to just exit scam at any time, leaving all their users without any money. And it's almost 100% of all wallets have that property. And we try to shine a light on that so that hopefully more apps join the club of the very few that at least are transparent, and hopefully we can motivate people to look at the code and make sure there is no backdoors in there, because that's neither happening. And well, and therefore we're quite thankful for your donation, and we'll try to keep it up. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thanks for keeping it brief. I know we're running out of time here. Basically, thank you for keeping our wallets safe. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Next up, we've got Crypto Bastardo. So he's writing a Bitcoin book targeting Bitcoin community in LATAM. With his extensive experience writing about Bitcoin, we're really looking forward to what you're writing, Crypto. I'll just invite you up to speak if you don't mind being brief and telling us a little bit about what you're up to, and how the book is coming along. Almost there. You just need to unmute and you're good to go.
Okay, bueno, thanks a lot for the grant and also for the support to the book. The main idea is like to share the experience that I already had through the Bitcoin news and even through a Bitcoin standard. So the tone could be more useful for someone that is trying to get into Bitcoin for the first time. Like I don't have any technical background, but I started working like as a writer and reporting news in 2017, and since then and learning about Bitcoin. So I think that it could be an useful way for people in these countries to understand that like they don't need an special talent or any kind of a special skill to understand how this kind of technological network could be useful, especially because we have a lot of difficulties in economical terms and the inflation of our economies and all the stuff. So I think that it will be a good book to share with the community. And also, as I have a lot of friends, I think that I will add like interviews or in each chapter, like to share the histories of people that share similar point of views or maybe similar things that they go through while learning about Bitcoin. So it will be more
awesome,
eloquent to share it. So that's it.
Amazing, good work. Really looking forward to the book, man. Next up, we've got Bridge to Bitcoin. I think you guys are up here. Yeah, I'm gonna invite you to speak right now. Also, then I'll invite also Bitcoin Racing. You can come up right after that. Yo, what's up?
Hey, it's good, thanks. So what do we do? So we're three guys in the UK. We run our respective meetup groups, and we wanted to develop circular economies. So we thought, well, let's work with each other and put together a Bridge to Bitcoin to start going around trying to onboard merchants in our local areas. And we started doing this 3 or 4 months ago, and it's developed into a kind of nationwide thing now. We're working with all of the meetup groups around the UK, and we've developed support materials, so leaflets focused on onboarding merchants. And the key thing for a merchant is that you're knocking on a door, and the person who's running that business probably, in all likelihood, isn't a Bitcoiner, but they've got to manage a business, they've got to worry about cash flows. So 2 of the key objections are the volatility of Bitcoin and the accounting changes that need to be done if you're going to accept Bitcoin. But we've now got solutions, particularly in the UK, a solution from a company called Coin Corner, whereby we can cut out that part of the conversation, and we can just say, look, here's a point of sale device, which we demonstrate, the tap and pay card. Bitcoiners can come in here, they can pay either from their Coin Corner account by tapping and paying with an NFC card, or the point of sale device also puts up a QR code and you can snap that from any Lightning compatible wallet. And the retailer, the merchant, doesn't have to keep the Bitcoin. So it uses the Lightning Network to transact the payment. So there's no Visa, MasterCard, Amex or banking system involved. But the merchant can just simply have it converted immediately to pounds, so that they receive in their account at Point Corner the pound equivalent of what was paid, what the pounds that were typed into the point of sale device. But the transaction has flown over the Lightning Network. So what this does is it makes it very easy for us to onboard merchants. We don't have to get into the orange pilling conversation, but we can expand the use of Bitcoin in the merchants. And we maintain a map of all of the UK merchants that accept Bitcoin, and we tweet that out whenever we add new merchants. So the Bitcoin community is able to see quickly which cafes they can go to, which pubs, which grocers, which hairdressers, to see, where they can buy goods and services for Bitcoin. So that's what we wanted to do, to start it off with us wanting to do it in our own local economies, but that's expanded out nationwide. And we're now working with other groups on the mapping side to get all of the data into OpenStreetMap and btcmap.org to bring that kind of data set together in an open source way across the world. So the data we're putting together isn't something that we want to own or keep, but we're working together with other people across the world to create this unified global data set that's hosted in the OpenStreetMap data sources. So that's basically it. That's our proposition. And just today I was out in London with another local Bitcoiner. So we also go out with other Bitcoiners so that we can show them what we do, how we do it. We provide them with support materials. We give them advice. So yeah, that's our game, onboarding merchants in the UK to accept Bitcoin.
Amazing. So you mentioned openstreetmap.com, but .org, right? And how would I find Bitcoin related businesses on there? Or is that just like the infrastructure and then businesses tap into that?
Yeah, so OpenStreetMap isn't the greatest visualizer for this. So what we do, right, at the moment, our site is Google Maps because it was the easiest way for us to get up and running in the UK. So that's what we're using. But the data in it, we're extracting. We've made some requests in GitHub to change some of the tags in OpenStreetMap, and we're populating data into those tags. So if you type currency equals XBT, or you type payment type equals Lightning, or payment type equals Lightning NFC, then you find the selection. But the mapping side isn't that great. However, as I was mentioning, we're working to extract that data into another database on a daily basis that they're putting a visualization tool on top of. Well, we're helping to do this, and we're not doing it directly, but we're supporting this kind of integration of data. So what it means is that people around the world, plebs around the world, can go into OpenStreetMap, add a new merchant, don't need to come through any third party, just do it themselves. That data will, within 24 hours, come out into this other database, and then btcmap.org, which is a new website, hasn't got the map there yet, but they're going to put a visualization tool on there specifically to show Bitcoin retailers around the world. So it's a kind of the data and then the visualization tool. So OpenStreetMap is the place where people can go and edit and add data. And it comes out into a database, which then is a visualization tool, again, all open source and all done with all the right principles. So that's
Fantastic. I mean, very bullish on bridge to Bitcoin. Good stuff, guys. Yeah, amazing. Looking forward to using this worldwide. Super exciting. Thanks for doing this. Really,
and thank you.
Super appreciate it.
Thank you for you guys for for the support and the publicity. And because at the end of the day, our pitch to merchants is about, we tell the community, and so we need the community to be looking at the maps and thinking, I want to spend. And I know some Bitcoiners have historically been resistant to spending, but our game is just buy them back. You spend your sats. I was out today, we had coffee and lunch at a cafe that accepts Bitcoin in London. I'm going to buy 50 quid's worth of Bitcoin to replace that stat. That's all you need to do. So, and you're supporting the growth of Bitcoin in the real world by doing this, because ultimately it's the medium of exchange alongside the store of, those two things are really important. unit of account is just an admin thing that will follow. But those two things are really key practical things that we need to develop.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Keep stacking, but keep spending. That's what we need to grow the ecosystem. There's no way out of that. Absolutely. All right. So moving on, we've got Bitcoin raising. What's up, guys? Can you guys? I think I invited you guys to speak. I'll also invite Mary for right after. Whoever makes it first.
Hey, man.
Yo. Hey, Charlie. How's it going?
Not too bad, thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice to be here to speak to everyone, and thank you for choosing us as well. So you want me to introduce the team and what we're doing and stuff?
Yeah, so like just kind of briefly, I hope you guys don't mind going a little bit over for those who can. I'll try to go through all of the people present here. But yeah, just kind of quickly tell a bit about, I believe you guys won the grant for the Bitcoin racing documentary, right? So yeah, maybe tell a little bit about what's your story and like, you know, tell us more about the documentary. What can we expect to see live?
Yeah, so we're just a family-run race team. It's literally run by myself, my brother, my mum, and my dad, and then one other guy called Matthew, who we actually orange-pilled a couple years ago. So it's very much a family bottom-up project, and we've loved motor racing for basically our whole lives. Like my dad introduced me and my brother to go-karting when we were 6 years old and 8 years old. But we've never really had the finances to take racing all the way. But we've still managed to remain in, you know, lower level championships to just enjoy ourselves, really. But obviously, motor racing is a very popular and highly regarded marketing platform. And companies all over the world use it to obviously promote their businesses and sales. And I think in the UK, globally, sponsorship business is worth $6 billion. So businesses really have it in high regard. Our plans are to move up to a championship called the Toka package in the UK. And in terms of like how prestigious it is, I would say the Toka package is probably, you know, you'd have F1 at the top, then Indy 500 and NASCAR. Then I would put the Toka package. And that actually includes the British touring cars. And the reason the British Touring Car Championship is so popular is because they basically took everyday cars and turned them into these amazing racing cars. So people would say, oh, look at that Volvo. I've got one on my front drive, which I used to take my kids to school. And now suddenly it's racing around, it's cool. And it literally became such a popular UK championship. And now the Toka package receives 15.8 million TV viewers on ITV, 400,000 spectators throughout the year. And within the Toka package, there's various championships like the touring cars, the Porsche Carrera Cup, or the Mini Challenge. The Porsche Carrera Cup reaches over 40 million people because obviously Porsche shares updates on the Porsche Carrera Cup on their official social media accounts. And the Mini Challenge, which is obviously slightly smaller, has a reach of 3 million on their social media accounts. So next year, our goal is to enter the Mini Challenge. It was initially the Porsche Carrera Cup, but obviously during the market and lots of companies introducing austerity measures, it's hard to gain sponsorship. But the Mini Challenge is 5 times cheaper, but is still within that Toka package. So there's a tremendous amount of people that we can start promoting Bitcoin to. And I believe, I believe Bitcoin really needs a positive counter-marketing campaign because obviously, you know, with this proof of work thing, proof of stake thing with Ethereum, Bitcoin's going to start getting really attacked. The World Economic Forum, the IMF, the World Bank, they have a huge amount of resources. And obviously, it's no news to anyone that they hate Bitcoin. and they have a lot of powerful resources to start, really putting a downer on Bitcoin and putting people off. But if we can associate Bitcoin with something exciting like racing, and also promote education as well at the tracks and give people free Bitcoin, which is something we started to do, we believe that would be, a positive. So that's in terms of the documentary, we wanted to follow the family story as we move, from the lower levels and hopefully upwards, and that would just track everything we're doing. So thank you very much.
Super cool. Love the idea of the documentary. I can see this being a big thing in a few years when you guys are racing against the Ferraris and the F1.
Yeah. I mean, the Porsche Carrera Cup is the ultimate goal, because we have a Salvadorian driver called Sebastian Melrose, and he was, before COVID, he was signed to a Porsche Carrera Cup team, so he's ready to go. And of course, we have permission from El Salvador to display their flag on our cars as well. So he really wants to join the team, but only in the Porsche Carrera Cup. So we've got a lot of hard work to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, good work. Good work out there. Amazing. Looking forward to see more. And by the way, Bitcoin Racing is one of the most successful projects on Geyser.fund. They've currently raised, I believe, around almost $6,000. They have 217 individual contributions, 100 individual contributions, individual contributors. So pretty spectacular community that they have, honestly. The last one was 3 days ago. It was 1 million sats. You guys are doing something right. So good work.
Thank you.
Amazing stuff. Awesome. Let's move on. We've got a lot of other people to listen to. I think I've invited a few you guys up, including Stephen Cho from the Shaw Collection. Also invited Mary. If you want to come speak up, let me try to I'm gonna have to remove some of you guys as speakers. Maybe that's why I can't seem to remove speakers. There you go, Mary. You're up. What's up? Would love to know more about what you're doing in I believe in Lagos, Nigeria, and the Bitcoin kind of meetup, right? Is that right? What you're working on?
Yes, that's what I'm working on. Hi everyone, and thank you so much, Geyser, for the grants, and huge congratulations for all the awardees. So my name is Mary, and I launched the Nigeria Bitcoin Meetup project. So I know that like a lot of countries and different areas, they host meetups, but the goal behind this meetup project is not to just bring a bunch of people together to talk about Bitcoin, but also to create like brainstorming sessions on how we can develop solutions to unique African problems. So we are aware that a lot of the Bitcoin solutions that are out there were created mainly for the locality of, the origin of that solution. So you have like the Cash Apps, the Strikes that focus mainly on the West. But we don't, although like some of the innovations work in Africa, it doesn't solve African problems really well. So I decided to host meetups starting from Lagos, Nigeria, where I'm based, where we gather, learn about Bitcoin, and then also talk about how Bitcoin can solve problems. And then what I did was to introduce networking sessions in between the meetup. So as people network and brainstorm on ideas, at least by the time they leave the meetup, they already know a developer or someone in marketing or someone UI, UX who could work together with them to create a solution that will solve the African problem. And I believe that following this unique model will help encourage more people to look at Bitcoin more from a tool to solve a problem than just something that you trade on the market, because in Nigeria, a lot of people just look at it as a means of trade, like, you know, trading it on in an exchange. So I wanted to change that narrative and show them the possibilities. So the last meetup I had, what I did was to introduce people to what is happening around the world by telling people about Bitcoin games, Bitcoin art, Bitcoin photography, and all these other interesting Bitcoin projects, so as to stimulate people to start thinking of how they can use their unique skills. And I let them know that Bitcoin, or your impact in Bitcoin, isn't limited to you being a developer. You can be a non-technical person and also make a huge contribution. So yeah, that's basically my project.
Amazing. Love your story, Mary, and very interesting insights on like your method for doing the meetups and really trying to move away from the speculative side of crypto and into the more utility that Bitcoin enables through micropayments. And been following a lot what you've been doing with Bitcoin gaming, which is really cool. So good work. Amazing. So next up we have, I think, Latin Todos. If you want to come up, as well as Connect the World and Edward. I'm not sure which account I should be inviting up. I'll invite both. And also Stephen Chow.
The upcoming year, there's going to be a lot of developments on the topic. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Edward. Good stuff. Let's move forward as well to Latin Todos. So Latin Todos, another really sparkling community in the Latin American kind of ecosystem. They're the largest Spanish-speaking Lightning Network community. Their work on onboarding, educating on technical users to Bitcoin and the continent. And, you know, we all know Latin America is really suffering from inflation lately. You know, we had Argentina with plus 50% inflation, you know, obviously Venezuela's an unfortunate example as well. So really important, the space, the work that's being done in the space. So definitely want to have you guys up to tell us more about, where you guys are at and what's next.
Yes, of course. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, perfect.
That's awesome, because this is my cue, I guess. This is the music part, the fiesta part. Thank you so much for making it possible and for putting together so many awesome initiatives. And I almost feel like speaking Spanish just to fully express how happy, how fortunate, and how bullish I feel about everything going on. So keep it up, please, everyone that we are present here. Also the team at Geyser. It's just inspiring. So just wanted to start with that, and then just also very, very quickly, because I know that time is precious. This project that is being maintained by yours truly is called Latinodos. It's basically a community that is made of around 80 Lightning node operators, more than 1,500 followers on social media, that is basically just going for a very simple objective, which is supporting in Spanish, in the Spanish language, the different users in the operation of their Lightning nodes, but also actively participate in the development, both social, technical, entrepreneurial development of the Lightning network. So yes, we are inviting different hosts from many different areas and fields in the Lightning ecosystem, both the technicals, the entrepreneurs, but also those who are non-technicals. We also host a testimonial series where real people tell us their story, like how did they come up to discover the use of Lightning, how are they using it in their day-to-day. Just to drop here maybe a couple of names. Some of the like maybe more well-known international initiatives in Lightning environment are, well, the work of Ben Ark, like Ellen Beats. He was with us once, and we were doing this, like talking live, but also doing some live translation to make sure that the language barrier is not stopping anyone and to learn about Bitcoin, specifically Lightning. We have also talked with the people here at Geyser, obviously. Shout out to Stelios there, hola. People from Ellen Markets, from Albi, obviously, Bleskomat. Also, obviously, more local people. Like here, we also see another participant, another grant winner, Libreria Satoshi. So working really with anyone and everyone that is working and aiming to help develop the Lightning environment in every sense. So that's pretty much it on what this project is about. It's only 1 year young, and also looking for more fun, more fiesta. Also, obviously open to collaborate, to decentralize this a bit more, so it's not only a one-person project. So if you are interested in connecting more with the Spanish-speaking community, shout out, just like hit me up in DMs or in latinodos.social website. And let's keep up the fiesta. Thank you so much.
Happy days. Thank you so much. I believe that was El Presidente. So thank you, Presidente. And thank you a lot also for translating live our current space in Spanish, which is super awesome. I've never done this before. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Stephen Cho. If you want to come up and talk a little bit about what you're doing. So if I can quickly summarize it, I believe you've been, really busy transcribing some of the most popular Bitcoin podcasts out there into text, right? Which can be accessed by millions of people. It can be searched, it can be indexed, and can be translated. So super straightforward, but super important work that has to be done. So I don't know, I can remember, imagine all the great knowledge and history that has been lost because it remained oral. How important it was to finally transcribe that knowledge into written form that is much more long-lasting. So tell us a little more about what you're up to and what's next as well.
Thank you, everyone. So I think in 2020,
tell us a little more about what you're up to and what's next.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So I think in 2020, I had found that Canshore on Twitter had done over 1 million words of transcription for very technical podcasts and for bit devs and technical events like that. And I looked around and saw that no one had really done a similar amount of transcription for these introductory podcasts or general audience conversations. So I actually found Stefan Livera on Twitter here and sparked up a conversation and just started doing transcriptions for him for free. And that gradually turned into like something like 45 episodes of the Stefan Livera podcast that I had transcribed for him. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is how can I address the most far-reaching conversations or the most introductory conversations and transcribe them for the general audience. And then for the future, I've actually had conversations with Nico from the Consensus Network, and we've talked about possibly putting these conversations down in print and then translating them into other languages, and that could have a much further reach to get these podcasts out there in English and several other languages and put those into print. So that's a possibility for the future.
Super cool. Very bullish on translations and transcriptions. Again, very important. Without these types of things, a lot of that knowledge can go lost. So appreciate you, Steven. Good work. And yeah, good luck on what's next. So moving on, we've got Bitcoin Tree. Bitcoin Tree Beard, who is working on this really cool project related to, sorry, I kind of actually lost the thread. There's so many projects here. There you go. The Nakamoto 2 project. Yeah, it's a project really focusing on supporting the environment. There's some skill and challenges, but you guys want to essentially build, plant a lot of trees, right? Based on, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically donations and other type of incentives. If you could jump in and help me out, it's been a while.
Yeah, no worries. I'll take the time here. Yeah, first off, very thankful for the grant, not only the stats, but also the recognition. So yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, the Nakamoto Tree Project is what I'm calling it. It's not actually so much about like the environment stuff. It's more, the focus is around trying to connect people to low time preference, to that ideal that we all kind of share in the Bitcoin community. And the way I envisioned doing that was just by planting trees. The fact that they're a very long-lived organism that grows for potentially a long time. And then, yeah, personally, I've had a lot of kind of rewarding experiences hiking and camping and whatnot. So part of it came from, I've been doing this with my dad, actually, planting trees for the last like 5 or so years, specifically giant sequoia trees, because they can grow for thousands of years and get absolutely massive. They're the largest tree on Earth. So there was that, but then getting deeper into Bitcoin, I started to imagine like what would it be like in 1,000 years into Bitcoin standard, and like what things would I wish that people would have done 1,000 years ago. And I suppose the corollary to that is like just where I am right now. Like what would I have liked someone to do in my backyard 2,000 years ago? And for me, the answer is very clear. It's like it'd be so cool to have a grove of giant sequoia trees that are 30 feet in diameter each, and it's just a very kind of like spiritually uplifting place to be in and to just exist in for some time. And I think the time to do that is now. It's obviously it's not really going to bear fruit for hundreds of years or even thousands, but I've found personally just the act of actually planting these trees and then stewarding them, like it does. There's a reward just knowing that these things will outlive you and hopefully contribute to a more beautiful world down the road. And so I'm hoping that we can point to these things, these trees, in the ground, they're, even when they're just a foot tall, and say, hey, like that will be here 3,000 years from now, and then like try to connect that to the low time preference ideal that Bitcoin helps to implant and nourish in all of us. So that's what I'm trying to do. I spent a lot of time reaching out to local businesses and municipalities in my area, trying to get like people to plant these things and have them exist as like these kind of public Bitcoin tree forums. But I totally struck out on that. No one kind of took me seriously. So I've since like been just gifting these trees to fellow Bitcoiners, and the hope is that over the next 5 or 10 or 20 years, maybe the groves that are planted can evolve into some sort of physical like meeting space for the local Bitcoin community, one that we can kind of get more in touch with that low time preference and kind of cast our minds into a deeper amount of time, hopefully do things that are, that have benefits, far down the road after we're all dead and gone. So that's what I've been doing.
Super interesting. Totally agree on the low time, on the low time preference, high time preference of Bitcoin, Bitcoiners. So very aligned with the slow moving, long term thinking life of trees. So appreciate that. Super interesting. I would love to see where this goes.
Yeah, I would definitely say this one fits into the Bitcoin culture, sort of Bitcoin art category. It's, I remember when I first looked at it, I was like, what? This guy's crazy. What is planting? And then I thought about it some more. I'm like, you know what? This is actually such a really cool concept. Just the more I thought about it, the idea of planting the sequoia trees, it's just symbolic. So what a great project.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of curious. I think we're starting to not as many projects. I think we've spoken to almost everyone who's on here, but yeah, actually, I think this is it. I'm inviting a few more people, including Shamemory, if you're listening. I know you guys are got a grant, and please let me know if some of you wants to come up and speak and say something. Happy to invite you and get your feedback and your thoughts. I mean, there were many more projects up there that don't have anyone that are not with us now, but like, these include like Triangle Bit Devs, Joao, well, 21 million podcasts. It's like focusing on educating people in Brazil. We have Yancy, which is essentially aiming to bring African merchants and entrepreneurs to Bitcoin, helping them understand the role of Bitcoin as uncensorable and uninflatable money. We have Apata Johnson also doing great work with the meetups in Lagos. You've got the Bitcoin Rabbit Hole, which is like a French community providing educational content in French through a plethora of videos, podcasts, and articles. You've got Sanactoni also doing educational material on YouTube. You've got Roger 9000 doing music, like rock music related to the mythology of Satoshi, which is really interesting. There's a lot of projects out there and that deserve a lot of recognition. You've got also Bitcoin Graffiti, plans of making a Bitcoin fantasy novel called The Wonderful Wizard of Nonce, which is really interesting. You've got more YouTubers like Kinetic Finance, and also Shamemory, which is now here. If you want to come up and tell us a little bit more about what you're doing and what's next as well, how you plan to use the grant money, would be great.
Yeah, definitely. Like everybody else said, thanks a bunch to the Geyser team, Brad, and the rest of the judges for acknowledging what we're doing, and everybody else. It's important to get that visibility as well as the financial recognition. A little bit about Shamemory. So my name is Scott, and I'm one half of the team. Shamemory was created by my wife and I. We initially released our Bitcoin card game, which is great for kids or adults ages 4 on up, in April of 2020, so a little over 2 years ago. The game itself, you don't need to know anything about Bitcoin to play it. It plays similar to the game of memory, but by playing it, it teaches the concepts of Bitcoin mining along the way, in kind of a fun, low stakes, easy to digest way. And that really was our mission with Shamri from the beginning, we recognized at the time, especially 2+ years ago, there really wasn't much of anything out there for especially kids to start learning about Bitcoin in a fun way. We were going to be parents very soon ourselves. Our daughter is now 3. And so we wanted to be the ones to try to create that content ourselves. And that's where the idea for the game came from. And then after the success of the game in 2021, we released our first book, Goodnight Bitcoin. So while the game is good for kind of that 4 on up audience, the book can go down to that newborn, where you're helping to talk about Bitcoin through that fun kind of classic Goodnight Moon book style, but bringing Bitcoin to life. And everything we do, our products are all STEM authenticated. So for those that don't know what that is, science, technology, engineering, and math is a concept that traditionally maybe public schools and that sort of stuff align their curriculum to. So for those out there in the traditional education space that are interested in learning more, teaching about Bitcoin, we do have that credentialing. And then secondarily, everything we do is done with the help of these little, we call them Bitcoin monsters, that both kids and adults really love. So our idea is that whether it's learning a concept or just becoming comfortable with the concept of Bitcoin through a character, that all goes a long way in being able to educate in the long run. And so the funds from the grant specifically are going to be used to create 5 educational videos that will take some of the concepts learned in the game and bring them to life so that the education can go even farther. So thanks a bunch for helping to support that.
Super cool. Thanks so much for the thorough explanation. This is very exciting. Definitely looking forward to playing it. And I didn't know it was STEM certified, so that's even more appealing. Awesome. So yeah, guys, I think that's it. If you guys want to jump in, say a few words, we'd love to have you guys give us some feedback. If not, I think we're.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Dulce Villarreal, and I am a contributor in La Librería de Satoshi. And I'm speaking on behalf of my whole team, Azor, Blue Moon, Laura, and many others. We are like a flat organization. And for those who doesn't know what is La Librería de Satoshi, La Librería de Satoshi is an educational project made with a lot of love in Latin America. And what La Librería de Satoshi starts is because after going to conference, I always spend the best time of my life with my Bitcoin friends. But then I realized it was the smartest conversation with the smartest people in the world. Of course, this is what I think every time I go to a conference, and how we can replicate this kind of environment, right? When we don't talk about shit coins, but we keep learning and we talk about technical stuff and we learn about what other developers are doing. And also it starts for the frustration because I invite people from El Salvador to take a study group in Chain Code Lab. I was leading a Bitcoin study group in Chain Code Labs in Spanish, but all the lectures and videos were in English. And I invite the people from Bitcoin Beach, and they couldn't take it. And that was a lot of frustration because when I started in Bitcoin, I didn't speak English either. I didn't learn programming. I didn't know programming. And after a few years, I feel the responsibility to share my love for Bitcoin and to share what I know. And as you know, Latin America has a lot of, and the Caribbean has a lot of talent. And when I started Librería de Satoshi in February, we didn't have any Bitcoin core developer from born and raised in a region. And I thought, we should change that. And our mission is to introduce Bitcoin and Lightning to the greatest number of people that in that way they can be Bitcoin contributors in the future or Lightning developers and entrepreneurs in Latin America. But also it's a safe space to learn Bitcoin and where all the Bitcoiners, and also we convert Ethereum people to Bitcoin maximalists. Yes, we do that too. And yeah, we have seminars, we have classes, workshops. We admire so much the open source project, the Bitcoin open source project, that we're trying to replicate the same way. everybody is a contributor. We have leader of education, and if you want to do your project with us, you come to us, you propose the project, and we try to help you. So far, we received more than, I guess, 600 applications to study, and right now we have 2 seminars. We are working on our second seminar for Lightning. We accept 60 people from more than 200, and also we finish our Mastering Bitcoin seminar. And the idea is that those members, we don't say students because we think we are peers and we are the same. Is very horizontal. These peers can take classes now, or they can take, if they want, the Chaincode Lab seminars, or we can channel them to Bitcoin in summer. And also we are working in meetups in the communities, like kind of Bitcoin devs meetups that sometimes is harder to get because there is not a lot of technical people. This is what we are doing. And to be honest, like, we feel very honored to be in the same list with other people, like so many, right? Like Shamri, we have the books, Studio Bitcoin, like so many projects that Anita Posh, like, just be in the same list with so many Bitcoiners and Bitcoin maximalists. We just feel like we should celebrate. And we actually, when we won the grant yesterday, we kind of celebrate. And we are in all Latin America and Spain and the Caribbean. Then we are kind of online, but also we do meetups in city, or this is our ideas. And we are so happy that in one way or another, Geyser, I don't know how you pronounce, guys, is putting all together these Bitcoin maximalist projects. And now we can know about each other. And thank you so much. We are really, really happy for the recognition.
Oh my God, so bullish on South America and Latin America. Thank you so much. This is it's so cool to see what you guys are doing. Wasn't aware you guys had that much traction. I mean, 600 people, super exciting, and love like the ethos of like everyone being on the same level, not having like a master or whatever. Like, everyone's a student and as a peer. Super interesting stuff. I'll definitely keep an eye out for what you guys are doing as well. And of course, everyone's putting in what they can, and you guys definitely deserve that recognition. So good work.
Thank you so much. And everyone is invited to give a technical talk or business talk. We want to make more amigos. That's it. More Bitcoin and friends. And thank you.
Happy days. Good stuff. So I think that is it. Does anyone else want to say a few words, or want to pop up and say, I don't know, give some feedback, or have any last words? I'm trying to see. Oh, actually, we have Bitcoin Graffiti up here. Just realized. I'm gonna invite you up if you can make it. That'd be cool. If not, also open door to anyone who I might have missed.
Also invited Shane up as well, or McShane, sorry. From Bitcoin Magazine.
Good idea. Yeah, we've been in touch with Alex. How's it going, Alex?
And yeah, I just wanted to say too, check out the pinned tweets. They're from Geyser funders. So Mick and Celios built a little Twitter bot that. Can you guys hear me again? All right, my daily reminder for Twitter went off, and it cut me off for a second there. I try to limit myself to an hour and a half a day.
Nothing.
Twitter.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, you guys built this really cool bot that just tweets out whenever somebody has connected their Twitter account to Geyser. And when you fund a project, it sends you a little tweet out to tell people that you've done it. So I like watching that stream to see who's active on Geyser, who's supporting projects. So follow the Geyser funders bot in the nest there, and you might see yourself on there someday if you just choose to decide to fund something. And also, we're definitely going to be doing more of these rounds. I was talking with Matt Odell a month ago or so about maybe doing like an OpenSats Geyser round, like kind of mix thing where we kind of do one together. And also spoke to Alex Gladstein about maybe trying to do like a HRF Geyser round. So the idea is just that this is going to keep going, and we're going to be continually getting funding from Bitcoiners and companies to be able to show impact and support people building Bitcoin culture, Bitcoin projects, open source development, and Bitcoin education, and to really support like high impact stuff. And then you know, this was like MVP. I think we knocked it out of the park. I might say. What do you think, Mick? I think we did a good job.
Yeah, totally. It was honestly, you know, much more big, much more impactful than I had anticipated. The fact that we got 80 applicants and that we were able to support 45 of them is honestly numbers that I had not expected. So amazing to see that, and honestly, just the discovery, like getting to know everything that's happening all around the world. It really helps to paint a lay of the land, a picture of what's happening, which is super important. And from the applicants and creators side, allow them to say, hey, I'm here, I'm doing this stuff, and be recognized. So absolutely great idea. I'm really glad we got into that. And yeah, as you said, Brad, we will keep on doing this, keep hyping it up, keep adding more features, integrating into the Geyser platform, and make it a lot more interactive as well. So yeah, keep watching the space. You'll see a lot of new ideas.
We should just ask, like, you know, we should have an ask here for people, because this is like, we're trying to do this for Bitcoin. So we're not like making any money off this or anything. This is like an altruistic sort of mission driven thing. And we need more people to know what we're doing or to have higher impact. So just always keep that in the back of your mind if you like what we're doing here with Geyser Grants. You know, like if you're talking to somebody that's looking to donate to Bitcoin projects, or if you're talking to somebody that is building something really awesome that needs support, or you know, let's get Mick and Stelios on some Bitcoin podcasts. Let's just keep this thing top of mind and keep pushing it, because I think it can be super high impact.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're only as good as we are as a team, as a collective. So yeah, if you guys can help us and reach out to more people that might be interested contributors, would love to get in touch and help increase the size of our grants and make them even more regular down the road. So yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah, I think we have Abu Bakar here. Might be worth just hearing from you quickly as well about Yancy. I think we mentioned it, and yeah, if you want to tell us a little bit about what you're working on, and then after we probably wrap it up.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Abubakar Sadiq Ismail. I am in Nigeria, in northern part of Nigeria, Adamawa State. Enchi is just like a group of people that are Bitcoiners. We come up together and say we want to, educate people, merchants, to, foster the adoption of Bitcoin in northern Nigeria, because it is the government have put like a lot of restrictions for financial transactions. You can only transact like a maximum of $20, and the inflation is very high. That is why we want to educate like our merchants with the language that they understand, which is Hausa language, by holding meetups and going to markets and gathering the businesses, entrepreneurs together, and then telling them what Bitcoin is, because there are a lot of misconceptions here in northern Nigeria. If they get to know Bitcoin, they just think that it is quick money scheme. It is only used for trading and all that stuff. So we want to make sure NT is just like the meaning is financial freedom in Hausa language. So that is what we want to do by telling people what Bitcoin really is, the freedom that they have in transacting globally, uncensored, and is inflammatory. So that is just what we are doing, me and my team here in Adamawa State.
Amazing, Abubakar. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, looking forward to hear more of what's how you guys are doing with onboarding merchants. I think you guys should maybe connect with Bridge to Bitcoin, because they're also doing the same thing, but in the UK and around the world, and they're also building up this map of Bitcoin merchants that accept Bitcoin. So definitely recommend you guys to speak to each other and then get in touch.
Yeah, can I just step in very quickly? Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to do that. Posted some tweets in the tweet section of this space, just with links to the map, but also to the merchant leaflet, which where you can download and use whatever you take it, use it. It's in English, but I've also posted a link to Figma, which is the source document. And Figma's open source, and I've posted a link where you can which should help you try and find that open source thing. Copy what we've done, take it to your country, translate it, edit it to make it appropriate for your marketplace. Absolutely fine. If you need any help doing that, just drop us a DM. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll do that.
Amazing, cool. I didn't see the Figma though. Is it in the website?
So it's I think it's the last tweet that I posted inside. There's 6 tweets I think against this space.
Gotcha. I think I only clicked the first one. Got it. Okay, I'll take a look. Awesome.
So it's the last tweets I think I posted. 19. Yeah. It doesn't go straight to Figma because I don't know quite how to do that, but it's a link to a website where there's a link to, because we didn't start this leaflet. It's already a global sort of open source initiative producing these leaflets, but they mainly focused on orange pilling people. So we took that and then we turned it into a merchant focused leaflet. So that's what we've done. And so you can take that back into your country, translate it, edit it to make it appropriate for your marketplace. Feel free. And if you're struggling to find ours, just drop us a DM, we'll help you.
Amazing. Awesome. So I think we have Bitcoin Graffiti up. We'll love to hear from you. I think we briefly mentioned your project, the wonderful Wizard of Nantes. So how's that going? Tell us what's next. We'd love to hear more.
Yeah, thanks for having me. First of all, thanks for the donation. It's a great encouragement for writing this story. So perhaps a little bit of background. I guess most of people are familiar with the Wizard of Oz, the movie, most people, I guess, but it's actually a book written in 1900s by L. Frank Baum. And I recommend every Bitcoiner to read that book because it's basically like a sound money adoption billing book. But back then there was no Bitcoin, of course. So it's like a silver and gold billing book written for children. And when you read through the whole book, you're like, okay, wow, this is basically just one big surreptitious reference to adopting sound money, plus also all the effects that it entails on like becoming a sovereign individual. So when I read that whole book, actually made a publication on Citadel 21, which is a Bitcoin magazine. Shout out to Hodl or Not. And in that article, I analyzed this story. And after I did that, I was like, wow, this was such an amazing book back in the day. And I was really looking around, and like we have great literature within the Bitcoin space, but actually most of it is like quite technical. So it was like, wow, like shouldn't there be like a Bitcoin fairy tale or like a Bitcoin fantasy novel? I was like, yeah, like somebody should definitely write that. And I was like, well, perhaps that should be me. So I'm currently reading up on a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, taking writing classes, and yeah, basically already have a few chapters down of the book, and yeah, continuing to develop it and try to make let's say a Bitcoin novel, like a mass orange pill device for people who aren't in Bitcoin.
God, this is pure genius. How did I not know that? How did I not know that the Wizard of Oz was a gold shill?
Yeah, well, read it. Like, I can put a link in the chat because the book was written such a long time ago. It's now for free on Gutenberg project website. So I'll put that in the chat. But yeah, you're right. It's basically like a gold silver billing book for kids. And yeah, and it's like full of great references. For example, Emerald City, most people are familiar with. This is basically the central point of the land, the green city, so like Fiat City. And when Dorothy and her team comes up the main gates, there's a little guy that opens up the gates for them. And he actually has to take a gold key off the peg in order for them to like enter the city. And one of the obligatory things they need to do is they have to like wear green glasses, and they're being locked behind their like heads. So all the time when they're in the city, they only see things in green, which is like, well, like I interpreted that's like, okay, that's like fiat money loss, you know, you're forced on the green stuff, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's a genius book, and I was like, well, after 122 years, like there needs to be like the cypherpunk version of it.
Really interesting, amazing. Thank you for that. I'm definitely gonna read it, and really looking forward to your orange pilling version. I can definitely see now how even these great masterworks, how these great masterpieces come about. Often it's just a story, right? A story that civilization has to learn, and that we get to essentially try to, you know, bring use as tradition to give back to our next generations, right? To make them remember what it is like to live in a fiat standard. What are the consequences? I think we need to retell that story in a modern way. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And amazing to see that all these grant creators are appearing. Now we have Paco. Welcome to Paco. Thank you so much for joining us. How's it going, man?
Hey guys, good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. We're just going over all the grants. We've actually been in the call now for almost 2 hours. Wow. But all good. It's been really interesting to hear what everyone's doing. And yeah, if you want to tell us a little bit about you, where you are at, what you're doing, and what's next for Paco de la India.
Hi guys, I love you all. Thank you so much, Bitcoin family. I really love you all. Hello from Central Africa Republic. This is the land where Bitcoin is legal, and I just went for my run, and I was just like, wow, you can run freely here just thinking about Bitcoin. I took a dip in the river, and it's a blessing that I'm here. So thank you everyone for supporting and believing in this journey. It's a big moment here at the Central Africa Republic. Is like there's no electricity, guys. It's crazy here, and I'm using land borders to move forward, and I'll be next moving over to Bangui. But so far, man, like I was just talking to my host here, and I was just sharing with him the Blue Wallet, set him up a Blue Wallet, and he was like, we don't have electricity here, we don't have power for our smartphones, and you have Bitcoin in our country. How will Bitcoin work? But it was like really heartwarming to just see like we are way back here in Central Africa Republic. It is nothing like East Africa or North Africa or South Africa. It is something crazy. I'm looking forward to go to Bangui and learn more from the tech community. I've organized a couple of meetups there. But really, thank you so much, and I love you all. I just got some internet finally, so I was like, I just drop in to say hello to you all because I missed the timing. But I love you guys, and thank you so much.
Love you too, Paco. Appreciate you. And yeah, thank you so much for all your hard work. Boots on the ground. So yeah, guys, I think this is it. I think we've spoken to pretty much everyone who's currently on the call, and more that have now left. I believe that is it. If anyone else wants to say the final words, if not, I think it's been a good, wonderful call to just see the real work, the proof of work that's happening on the ground. As we said already, this is hopefully one of many, but we definitely need your support to keep putting out the word that we need grants on Bitcoin, right? To help push this open system that doesn't have anyone that controls it, and doesn't have a marketing department. So we've got to do the hard work. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas on ways to grow, feedback on how we can improve, if you guys want to help out with the next grant in some way, just DM us and we'll have a chat and we'll get you all ready and set up for the next grant. The next grant is probably going to be in a few months, probably going to be around November. So keep your eyes out, and thank you all, guys. It wouldn't be possible without you doing the hard work on the ground. So appreciate you all. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Brad, if you have any final words.
No, just super proud of you guys for the way that you pulled this thing together, and Geyser Fund is just awesome, and more people need to know about it. So you guys did an awesome job on this.
Thank you, Brad. You as well. You really have. All right, enough putting in the back. Gonna get some dinner. You guys enjoy it. It's a pleasure to hang out with you guys. And until the next call, you take care, guys. I'm gonna close it. Cheers. Bullish.